One person in our area, in the Boston area where I grew up, one person in our area, in our project, he used to sit back and he used to give everybody X-Lax. You know X-Lax? He'd give you chocolate and he puts X-Lax in the thing. And then he goes around and waits the next day to see everybody.
So your friend poisoned you. That's not a prank. He just poisoned you. So yeah, I would press charges if someone did that to me. Someone said, here, want some chocolate, and gave me chocolate, and it was the chocolate laxative. I would sue them, and I would win, because they just poisoned me.
All right, my beauties and bees, hello, welcome and good evening, each and every one of you. Thank you for joining me tonight as we dive into some more Halloween madness as fundamentalists freak out over I would say even bastardized version of ancient holidays, or a collection of ancient holidays, which is what most of our modern holidays are. Aren't any of them directly sourced to one people group, because as people intermingled, they lined up their holidays together, or already had holidays that lined up, because a lot of holidays are based around like seasonal changes and equinoxes and things of that nature. So take from it what you will. But for some reason, the one that happens at the end of the autumn season, or into the harvest season, that where a lot of cultures associate it with death, decay, with preparing to buckle down, with a last hurrah, a last revelry before the cold snap drives everybody inside, and the last time for people to intermingle when weather was fair. So it was an important time of year, but there was a lot of iconography that became associated with negative spirits, and the idea of celebrating death to certain cultures is kind of unheard of. But I digress. Modern fundamentalists don't like Halloween for whatever reason. We're gonna lay it out here that they think that any other religions are just instantly the devils. So let's have a look. This is One Islam Productions. They have 2 million subscribers. This was from last Halloween season, last October, 11 months ago, as you see there. And let's see, that's kind of off balance though. 2 million subscribers, but only 663 comments. Maybe they police their comments pretty heavily, though. I bet they do if they're really fundamentalist. I should end this poll. There we go. I forgot to end that from the previous show, but the show must go on, right? Let's see here. So, One Islam Productions is going to tell us the scary truth of Halloween. This is a must-watch. And first, I want to admire the standard televangelist layout here, trying to sell their network. Creation of man, how it all began. Somebody wants to get a One Islam TV subscription, and then we'll watch some other stuff. Shaitan does not want you to see this. Yeah, you gotta watch out for Shaitan. All right, here we go. See, right away, they're not afraid to use the imagery that they're going to complain about. It's kind of ironic. Right out of the gate. I've always pronounced it Celtic. I think that's the only time I think it's pronounced Celtic is when it's the basketball team, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Samhain. At least the Christian fundamentalist channel we watched the week before. Pork soda, are you talking about Primus? Yeah, I used to play bass like that when I was a goofy kid. But, see, do Muslims have something against music? This one apparently doesn't because this video has music all through it. Do Muslims drink pork soda? I doubt it. Too quiet. Okay, thank you, Andrew. Let me turn him all the way up. Okay. We'll go back.
Now, going to the fall season, the Celtic people of the north used to believe that during the fall season their year began. And actually for the Celtics, their New Year's was November 1st. October 31st was the final day of the year for the Celtic people of the north. And that day was
Yeah, he says Celtic.
called the Day of Samhain. And this individual, wal-iyadhu billah, was supposed to be their god of the spirits of the dead.
But it's pronounced Samhain, not Samhain. Although, you know, Sam Hain is the name of the character, or Sam is the name of the character from the Trick or Treat series, which kind of, but Samhain is how this is pronounced. I think, and I believe that he's saying Celtics here, but I think Celtic is the proper terminology when you're talking about the culture and society. But correct me if I'm wrong. If somebody else has insight on this, you know, he's saying it right and you're saying it wrong, correct me. But I know I'm right about Samhain, so is it wrong of me to assume that I'm right about Celtic people? Yeah, I don't know. My ancestors were Celtic apparently, so that's a thing.
Evil again. And according to their belief, the evil spirits would rise to the surface and would terrorize people on that evening. And on that evening, if you did something wrong to a person, they'd come back to get you on that night. So some people would put on a disguise, so you couldn't recognize them on October 31st on that evening, and then they would be safe. Also, they would burn fires. Now the only thing we find left of...
So here's the thing about the society that these legends come from. What they would do, or their lore was that at the end of the year was when the Lord of the Dead would send his guy to come. Anku was his name, Ankou. He's the Celtic collector of the dead. He's where we get the image of the guy with the Grim Reaper image with the big hooked staff and everything. And he would come at the end of the year on Samhain. He would come and collect all the people who had died that year. Until then, they were stuck. They were in their earthly domain, right? He would come and collect them and take them to the afterlife. Now, there's a lot of lore tied into this, which they're going to get into here. But one of the things that he did just mention, though, is the dressing up in costumes. You had to do that when you were going out if you were going to. You could participate in. Because people would leave blessings out for the spirits that were waiting for the bus, you know, waiting for the guy to come get them. Their loved ones would leave stuff out for them, and you could dress up in a costume and go, "Oh, I'm a spirit. I'm here to get treats." And children would do it as a trick or treating kind of thing. That's where that practice comes from. But they're going to try to demonize it here, of course, and demonize some of the other practices as well.
That is the jack-o'-lantern that they would put inside of their window made from the pumpkin.
Okay. You didn't even 2 sentences in. They didn't use pumpkins until the tradition came to the U.S. because they didn't have pumpkins. Pumpkins are a New World crop, so they didn't have pumpkins to carve. They carved turnips, big giant turnips. Actually, let me pull up a picture of a turnip jack-o'-lantern for you guys to see. They are wicked looking. There we go. Yeah. Kind of makes you sad that they stopped doing this tradition, actually, when you see what I'm going to pull up here. It's going to hopefully make you a little bit uncomfortable. Oh, not that one. Here we go. That. Yeah. There's our carved turnip. What do you guys think? Is that spookier than a pumpkin? That is what they so I got my musicians practicing in the other room. They were doing some good stuff there, but yeah, this is what they yeah, Celtic. That's what I thought, Rig. Thank you. So, well, actually, John's disagreeing. John's saying Celtic. Ring is saying Celtic, which I've seen it with the K. When I look at old, like, history, like, not old history books, but I look at like history books and stuff, but I don't know how we're supposed to pronounce it in modern anglicized English, so that might be different. But these are creepy cool, and I wish we still carved them, but they're probably really small. It doesn't give you a scale, but turnips don't get very big. They're probably about the size of a hand fruit, right? Like an apple or orange. Anyway, you know.
Actually happened in Europe is that the church moved All Saints Day, a day for the saints. They moved it from May 13th to November 1st in 1834 AD. And so what they said was that the 31st night is All Hallows Evening. All Hallows Evening, which in America later became known as Halloween. Halloween. And they depict the forces of evil.
Well, that's, I don't know, a misnomer, I think. It's because your culture only has this dark and light view of the universe, right? That everything is either evil or good. Doesn't mean that all cultures and societies were like that. I'm going to use Celtic because that's what I've always used. Yeah, the pumpkin's creepier than the turnip. I think so too. But you can carve some creepy faces into the pumpkins. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh, the Celtic society had a dark beauty view of death, and their deities of death and their images of death were beautiful recreations and celebrations that were depicted in their art as skeletal stuff and crows and different dark characteristics, right? So the moonlight and the balefires and the jack-o'-lantern and all this imagery, it may be dark, but it doesn't necessarily have to be evil. It shouldn't necessarily have to be depicted as evil or perceived as evil either.
What is happening now is that the children put on disguises. They dress as little devils, little witches, as goblins, vampires, anything evil, and they go out and...
They don't, though, but I think that maybe they do. There's a percentage, maybe like 30% of Halloween costumes are something scary anymore, but most people are dressing as... Goodness gracious, that's loud, Ian. Most of them are dressing as like superheroes or cartoon characters, things like that. Not a lot of people are out here on Halloween dressed up like vampires and demons anymore. There are a percentage of people that do. Traditionalists. I do like traditional Halloween costumes, as you can see by my witchy look today. But I don't think that they generally are trying to dress as things that are evil, at least not in modern times. I don't think they ever were, really.
And now with the new American way, they do trick or treat. And they come to your house asking for food. Do they do that here in Miami? Trick or treat. They knock on your door in a disguise. And some Muslims, thinking they want to be Americans, or they want to be Canadians, they send their little children, and they're in little disguises. So what are you going to dress them as? A little angel? What are you going to be? How are you going to dress them out there?
Oh, bumblebee. One of my daughter was a bumblebee one time. My boys were both they were little. They dressed as a biker one time that Ian did. That was super cute. A pirate. They've ninjas and then superheroes. Bumblebees, princesses, witches. All kinds of cute stuff like that. So, yeah. You got a problem with it, mister? Yeah, you can dress your kid up and take him out to get candy. It's not going to hurt him.
And so the reality that we recognize is that, number one, this is the day
unless they're diabetic.
Of Samhain. And the Quran tells us, Inna shaytana lil insani aduwwun mubin. That the devil is an open enemy to humanity. There is no compromise with the devil. And so we don't play around and disguise ourselves as little devils, little shayateen. We do not disguise.
You don't dress up in costumes if you're Muslim. It's bad. Hey, Beck, welcome to the show. We're learning about why a good Muslim does not practice Halloween. Because you dress up as little devils and disguise yourself is the main protest so far. So keep up, everybody. I hope you all got your notepads out.
Disguise ourselves as this, because it is an open enemy to the people of monotheism. Also, there are a number of other aspects. What is happening now, as you may know in America, is that there is a new church coming about, which is called the Church of Satan. Well, iyadhu billah. And in the 60s in San Francisco, the church was initiated. And right now in the American army, if you are Jewish and you die, they bring you a rabbi. If you're a Muslim, they'll bring you an imam. If you're Christian, they'll bring you a priest or a minister. If you're registered as part of the Church of Satan, they bring you a priest from the Church of Satan. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. And
I see no problem with that. Do you? Do you?
He's performing these rites and rituals, calling on the devil to accept his initiate. And so this is growing in this society. And they actually did a couple movies. They did this Rosemary's Baby. Right? They also, The Exorcist. And a number of movies they did to frighten people with evil. That you will be so afraid of evil. And they show the priests as bumbling idiots. Falling down over their feet. Can't do anything. Running away from the devil. And the devil is a business.
Wait, in The Exorcist, the priest won. He defeated the devil, or defeated the demon. He sacrificed himself, but he got it. Got it out of Reagan, and then jumped out the window to kill it, or to like kill the body it was possessing. Yeah.
Businessman in his suits, and he has the power of lightning and everything. So even though the devil dies in the end, you end up being more afraid of the devil.
Wait a second. So he's talking about, where's the devil have the power of lightning? Is that the Omen that he's talking about, maybe?
Than anything else. That's part of the plot, to brainwash people to be afraid of the shaitan. The reality is that the Prophet ﷺ said that the upper hand
shaitan
is better than the lower hand. Al-yad al-ulya khayrun من اليد السفلى. That the upper hand is better than the lower hand. What that means is you should be the one who gives and don't beg. That we should not be begging.
No, trick-or-treating is not begging, it's sharing. It's a community thing where you share sweets with people in celebration of the end of... It used to be, and I remember when I was a kid, it used to be that that there were also cookies and cupcakes and stuff involved with trick-or-treating that they went away when allergies peaked up, when then people started getting afraid of poison and stuff too. But like when we just go around our neighborhood and people would have the kids come in and look at their like costume or whatever, and they give them cookies or cupcakes and fruit. You get fruit too. You get bananas and apples and oranges and stuff. This was like in the early 80s when I was really little. As I got older though, it just became just candy, and you weren't allowed to give out anything that wasn't prepackaged. People wouldn't accept it. So kind of turned the table.
And so to send a Muslim child out to trick-or-treat is a demeaning, lowering thing. You're asking them to beg people for food. Then they're dressed up as a way that they're not. Then when the candies and things come in the bag, how do you know what it is they actually gave you? Is it halal? Most of the candies today are made with gelatin, with glycerin. They're made with pork products.
That's probably true. I'd say that's probably true, my dude. So yeah, if you want to just have your Muslim community celebrate Halloween, probably have some halal-friendly treats to give out. I don't see the problem with that. And if a lot of Muslims are out trick-or-treating and there's a Muslim population, maybe the people giving out candy could even be like, hey, when you say trick-or-treat, they say halal or non-halal, and they'll be like halal, and you give them the they give them the halal stuff. Sounds like a win to me. I don't know what the problem is.
One person in our area, in the Boston area where I grew up, one person in our area, in our project, he used to sit back and he used to give everybody X-Lax. You know X-Lax? He'd give you chocolate and he puts X-Lax in the thing. And then he goes around and waits the next day to see everybody.
So your friend poisoned you. That's not a prank. He just poisoned you. So yeah, I would press charges if someone did that to me. Someone said, here, want some chocolate, and gave me chocolate, and it was the chocolate laxative. I would sue them, and I would win, because they just poisoned me. So the stuff, and I was watching Roseanne on the Quartering a couple of weeks back, and she was stirring the same nonsense about Halloween, right? That there's all these reports of people poisoning children's candy and people putting razor blades in the apples and stuff like that. There's no truth to it. The only people who have done such a thing are parents doing it to their own kid and trying to play it off like a stranger did it, which they didn't, because the parent did it and were busted. One guy's the neighbor kid got sick from it too, because his own kid that he was trying to poison shared candy with them. That's the only time this has ever happened. And it was self-inflicted. So, yeah. But yeah, people like Roseanne out there, she's like, oh, she did her Halloween episodes, and they were wonderful. That Roseanne Halloween episodes were an important part of my childhood growing up. I loved those episodes. I loved the Home Improvement episodes for Halloween too. So I don't see what the problem is with trick-or-treating though. Not really, as long as you follow some basic logic.
So they can do anything to you, man. You have no control over the situation. You have no control. And what is also happening is that there are some evil, wicked-minded people who are attacking children on that night. I don't know about Miami, but in Canada now, they openly say on the television, do not send your children trick-or-treating by themselves.
Right, because that's a reasonable expectation that kids won't go out by themselves. Children shouldn't be out trick-or-treating by themselves, at least not if they're under the age of like 13 or so. I honestly wouldn't send a kid who's not, at least has a license and a device to contact you out anyway, regardless. So man, that's really loud, dude. Come on. He's really jamming in there, I swear. But I don't know how loud that is on your guys' end. But anyway, the idea of looking both ways before you're crossing the street, carrying a glow stick, doing all these other steps to make sure you're extra safe that evening. There's no shame in that. It's not shameful.
Do not go in darkened streets. Move as a group. Don't
Reasonable.
go to a house that you don't know the people on the inside.
Reasonable stuff.
And there are literally groups of Satanists who are capturing children, and they're performing a rite, sacrificing the child.
Oh, are there now? Really? Where? When? How often is this happening? Satanist? Man, I swear to God, the Manson family. The Manson family ruined frickin' Halloween. I swear to God. Not that they acted on Halloween or anything, but it gave the idea that there's these nefarious satanic cults out there ready to just like murder people. And it's really not as common of a thing. And they're definitely not, I don't know. There's the idea that people are doing satanic sacrificing on children on Halloween lacks evidence, lacks credulity. Give me some evidence, please.
On that evening of Samhain, supposedly to get more spiritual power. It's happening right now. And so from so many angles, Muslims should have nothing to do with Halloween. And if your children are in school, go to the teacher. Go to the teacher and make it clear to the teacher we do not involve our children in these ceremonies. Even the Jehovah's Witnesses will go to the teacher and tell them, take my child out of Halloween.
So appealing to the Jehovah's Witness is not the slam dunk you think it is, my friend.
They don't even believe in that. Take my child even out of your Christmas. They're not involved in that. What can happen during these occasions, if you want them to draw pictures of pumpkins or, fall plants, okay. But we don't want to be involved in these confused rituals that are giving signals from many different angles. And so, in conclusion, we recognize the fact that the present system of rituals and holidays in this country and in the Western countries is a confused hodgepodge of cultural rituals. And it is important for Muslims to have basira, that they should have the insight to look through affairs and do not just blindly follow the ways of the Christians and the Jews. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, you will follow them.
So, like, Halloween's not Christian or Jewish or any other religion. It's kind of a secular holiday, which everybody can participate in. Let's see. As a parent, it wouldn't have occurred to me to send my kids alone. I actually love them. Yeah. Dressed as a Republican, says John Hudson. And Jur says children shouldn't be out at night alone, no matter what night it is. Absolutely. And up until a certain age, there's no reason for the kids to be out roaming around town at night. It's actually quite nice background music at worst. Yeah. They got a show here in an hour and a half, so they're just like warming up and stuff. I don't want to be a bitch about it. Carry on, rotten eggs. Yeah, it's a pretty decent backing track. You're saying I'm too nice, says Dr. Tap. Tsunami says the guy that poisoned the kids' pixie sticks is also to blame. Yeah, that's the guy I was talking about a minute ago. What a douchebag, ruined it for everybody. And now we're back to the fundagelical scaremongering. Yep, fundamentalist hate Halloween. That's part of their brand. I have plenty of TP for trees. Yeah. Well, you're going to get yourself in trouble. I think you're an adult, Dr. Mordecai, so you're looking at like vandalism prosecution. Sounds like this Muslim read too many chick tracts. Yes, and my girl, Miss Lemon, does chick tract readings, and she's got a Halloween one, I think. Either just came out or is coming out later today. So check that out, too. Let's see here. Where was I? Children are only sacrificed on solstices. It is known, yeah. Oh, you get more power on Halloween, right? Want to scare kids at Halloween? Dress up as a youth pastor or a priest. Look for unlocked doors. Let's see, where am I? Scout leaders, yeah. Not to just blindly follow, but that's what religious people do best. Exactly, Tsunami. And there's the cultural supremacy. Stay on the dark streets. I stay on the dark streets, but that's because that's where I find my to get, how I do, and I affect them with transgenderism. Let's see, the confused angle that this person's circular logic that shows his head is stuck in his dark place. Yep, good. You've got to be in the dark place for Halloween though, so it's at least it's thematic. Stay away from the graveyard, or go to the graveyard, depending on if you're trying to communicate with the dead. I went out for Halloween, and now I don't believe in any of the stuff he's scared of and the stuff he should be. Arm your children before sending them out trick-or-treating. That's not a bad idea. Just make sure they have trigger discipline. All right, let's continue on. I'm caught up with the chat. I'm trying to be more engaging with you guys today, so I hope you've noticed. I do want to interact better. So as we go through these, it makes it more fun, I think.
You will follow the people who came before you inch by inch, foot by foot. Even if they crawl into the hole of a lizard, you crawl inside there with them. And then they said, who are these people? Are they the Christians and the Jews? And the Prophet said, who else? And so it has come to pass. And you can't Islamicize these occasions. You can't use Arabic names and Islamic symbols to make it halal. We have to take a stand.
Does it have to be, though? I mean, can you celebrate a secular holiday? Do you celebrate national holidays? Like the founding of your nation and things like that? It's a harvest holiday. Like you just said a minute ago, pumpkins and fall leaves and that kind of stuff, but also spooky. What you'd call, I guess, witchcraft and such.
And secondly, it is important for Muslims to cherish their own holidays. When the Eid al-Fitr comes, take the day off. There are some Muslims who go to work on Eid. They go to Eid prayer and they go to work. So what happens to your children? They don't have a chance to relax and enjoy themselves. Organize an activity. Bring their families together. Eat together. Do things together. Remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala together. Make it a happy occasion for them.
But it's got to be halal. They can't participate in anything else. Can't read anything that's not halal. I don't know. So it seems very restrictive. But, you're on the internet, so.
They will remember their Eids. Eid al-Fitr, Eid al-Adha. If they don't, then they get involved in Christmas, in Easter, in
I do like Christmas and Easter. I do. I'm not even a Christian or anything like that. I'm an atheist. Or actually, this guy we interviewed on Skeptic Haven last week has got me interested in atheopaganism. Kind of goes hand in hand with my Lovelockian Gaianism when I get to do witchy stuff, so maybe. But I'm gonna do Christmas, and I'm gonna do Easter if I want to. Actually, I don't do Easter. I think Easter's kind of blah. They're doing the song, the Flyleaf song. All right.
Halloween, where even in the Christian tradition now, it is confusing. And many of the Christians now,
What was that?
even in the Christian, then they get involved in Christmas, in Easter, in Halloween, where even in the Christian tradition now, it is confusing. And many of the Christians now, Seventh-day Adventists, Jehovah's Witnesses, and many people are taking a stand. And they're saying we do not want to follow the pagan religion. So what about those who have been blessed with monotheism? And so I want to leave you with these words.
But that's just because the name that they picked in Western culture to label it with was Halloween, which was the Celtic name. This was not an exclusive holiday to the Celtic people, though. All over Europe, Northern Asia, all over the Northern Hemisphere, this was a thing. It was a I don't want to say it was something they celebrated, but it was definitely something they recognized and acknowledged, right? It was something that they engaged with, was that this natural cycle was taking place on an annual basis, and this was kind of around the cutoff point, was within this, maybe depending on what your latitude was, I guess. Sometimes some areas that probably lasted longer than others. But there was always the celebration of this time of year, right? And there was always sort of a overhanging of death around it, because it was a season when things were dying back. So it's not exclusive to any culture to recognize this, or these commonalities that we had across the Northern Hemisphere as a species, and to deny our natural right to I would almost say our ecological right to prepare for for the coming winter, as all animals do, in whatever manner that we traditionally see fit, with no cultural ties at all. I think taking that away from people is wrong.
And I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would help the younger generation to be able to take a stand, especially for the Muslims to take a stand, and for those non-Muslims to try to understand what Islam really is. To try to understand that our society, what we are living in our society, our moral standards are being lowered to the point where
where you can coexist with other cultures, that's not a bad thing, though, homie. You need to be able to coexist with other cultures. I know you get this ethnocentrist, or is it? I guess it wouldn't be ethnocentrist, because not everybody is of the same ethnicity. But it's the idea that you're gonna oppress, that you, if given power, you would oppress us. Right? We've seen that. We've seen what Islamic theocracies look like, and how things proceed. We've seen the full body coverings for women.
People of conscience do not take a stand, then we will be living in a state of confusion. In Canada, common law marriages are practiced more than regular marriages. In Quebec, in the French province of
This is the land we live in, and these are the birds we're given. Yeah, anyway. Land of confusion.
of Canada, it has the second highest rate of common law marriages on earth is in Quebec. And they say these marriages only last at the most 5 years. So if the families are broken apart, if children are being molested, if women have no sanctuary or protection in the society, even in the White House, if nowhere is safe, then the basis, the essence of the society itself is become rotten. And this will influence the economic situation, the political situation, all aspects of life. So I leave you with the thought that people of conscience...
So, to clarify here, people of conscience, you mean the... what do you say? Islamic State, I guess, is who you want to appeal to as a place to protect children. which, as far as I know, the rates of child abuse is just poverty and things like that is higher in Muslim nations. The disparity between the rich and the poor is the highest. And the poor obviously have a higher rate of crime and domestic crime, things like that, because of what poverty does to a society, right? So that doesn't surprise me one bit. All right, let's see here. What have I missed? You guys talking about out here? Christmas is pretty. Most cultures have some sort of holiday around lights and candles and stuff. Sure. There's I know the pagan holidays, there was a candle mass is one. It's in February though, I think. The season is the reason for celebration. Absolutely. Just celebrate it, because why not celebrate? We only get one go around. Funny how people in cultures from the northern hemisphere have midwinter dopamine boost celebrations, right? Like when depression levels are high, they have something to look forward to, right? But not if it's not halal. If it's not halal, you can't have it. Sit in your depressing little lodge and deal with it. This video makes me think that Islam is just fundagelical Christianity with a different language and dietary restrictions. Says Ring. Al says, in 1985, I made my own Optimus Prime costume out of boxes and paint. That's freaking epic, dude. I made my own cardboard costume of just from the waist down, but I had like a little tiny body costume, but did a casket with my legs sticking out of the bottom of it with a cardboard box cut like a Dracula casket. It was pretty cute.
Should take time, study history, go back to the source of the religions, and you'll find that all of the religions are based in Tawheed, in the oneness of God. It will take you right back to the source. And when you think about a Muslim now, realize it's not somebody who's thinking about blowing up the Empire State Building. That's stereotyping. That's Hollywood. That's Hollywood. Islam is based on peace, submission to the Creator. When we meet each other, we say, Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. And we pray for peace for all people.
Fun fact, the more covered up a culture wants its women, the higher their rate of sexual assault. That does not surprise me. There's the call for theocracy. Red flags are not fun facts. Yeah, I think she was being sarcastic when she called it a fun fact. I did the string music. Yeah, that's my son practicing with his band. That's right, Aunt John Hudson, you're right. I shouldn't have used sarcasm in that. Oh, yep, she said that was sarcasm. Essay, it's a specific type of assault that I'm sure you can figure out. Yeah. Anyway, that was, well, what's the rest of this video? If that's because it says there's a few more minutes left.
Are you tired of all these annoying ads on YouTube? Are you worried that a haram video might pop up? Well, the One Islam TV app is here to solve these problems, inshallah. The One Islam TV app is 100% free of any ads and is safe to browse for your peace of mind. Watch or listen to lectures.
Yeah, so you don't accidentally see something you shouldn't see, right?
And lessons while you work, rest, or drive with your device switched off. Watch videos on demand or download videos and watch offline. Watch hundreds of high-quality produced Islamic reminders, Quran learning videos, stories of the prophets, and so much more. 2 to 4 new videos uploaded daily, inshallah.
Are you afraid you might be exposed to outside cultures and influences? Well, this is the app for you.
Islam TV is 100% run and owned.
Yeah, doctor, you got to go all the way. Go all the way, like Allah. Yeah. Anyway,
owned by Muslims, which means a small amount you pay for your subscription is a sadaqah jariyah, continuous charity for you, as we use the funds raised to continue producing more.
Or you could tithe the Church of the Hive, right? You could give some tithing there to help with my electrolysis funding, because I'm trying to get that taken care of. So, yeah, I have less dysphoria. I have that fundraiser still going. I think I'm have it going until I guess December 5th or something like that is when I got it set up to shut down. So you can still donate to that. Maya, do you have the link to that you can drop? I don't know, one of my friends can drop it for me.
More beneficial videos and reminders, inshallah. The One Islam TV app is now available on Apple devices, Apple TV, Android devices.
Ooh, I wonder if they're going to come after me for this, because this is a kind of a big network, but they're using pretty stock images and stuff. And the recording just sounded like an audio track from a presentation. Let's look at more of their stuff, though. Let's look and see what else this channel
When we
has
think of
there.
the
What most of their videos and things are about. Let's see. The Sons of Adam. Noah's Ark found in Turkey. Of course, just 9 hours ago that was released. Noah's Ark, there's gotta be some Noah's Ark. I don't know what this is because it's in Arabic script. Let's see, the Signs of the End Time series, Final Days of the Prophet Muhammad, Islam and Aliens. That sounds worth covering. I'm gonna have to. I think my homie Dennis Hovind is going to have to subscribe to this channel, because there's good stuff here. Deadliest weapon. And let's see. They don't teach you this in school. The early enemies of Islam. Exact location where Jesus will return. Ooh, Jesus. Got more Adam and Eve stuff. Story of Gog and Magog. That's the end time. When the battle of good and evil and all that, that's the enemy. Gog and Magog. Yeah. All right. So, ooh, some jinn stuff. 2 hours on jinn? Man, that's a long time to sit through. You got a shorter video on jinn? I'd be down for that. All right. So, yeah, the good stuff. There's good stuff here. I think stuff we can. Most Muslims don't know these rights of women in Islam. Well, maybe you should teach them that. Maybe that should be something that's out of the board. They got their own Caleb and Sophia sort of cartoon thing. Gracious. There's a lot to unwrap here. Okay. Well, as we do, we're going to wrap up there with our creation watch. Interesting little journey we've went on, exploring the Islamic view of Halloween. What do you think? Tell me in the comments down below. Please remember to be kind, take care, and we'll see you next time.
Satanism. To most, it conjures images of medieval black masses or sinister deeds done for the devil. must expose all the evil being done in the name of Satan.